So before the press conference starts, you think that was rocking? Do you really think that was a rocking video? What I'm about to show you, go rock your socks off. It's going to blow you away. Some of you guys who don't like the hard rock might want to turn the volume down or walk away. You know what the saying goes from us rockers, if it's too loud, you might be too old. That's pretty much what the deal was back in the day. So I had a couple heavy metal Trump fans who reached out to me. And these heavy metal Trump fans said, hey, Barry, you got to play this. Your audience is going to, I hope you love it. This, if this don't get your blood running, if your ticker doesn't start ticking after this, your ticker might be on the brink. So, the official fanfare debut of F Around and Find Out. OMG. Yeah, baby. I know some of y'all had to crank it down, but then some of y'all was trying to crank it up to 11 because 10 just wasn't good enough. You know the movie where that comes from? Maybe. I don't know. I'm a rocker. Always been a rocker. Will always be a rocker. You rock till you die. That's how I feel. Tommy Radcliffe, if you're in here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, a couple guys just on Twitter, like, Barry, you got to play this. And the thing about that, let me just talk about that for a second. The thing about that video that I really want you to understand is, I've talked about it many times here. The MAGA tent is much, much bigger. It continues to grow. It is beyond your grandmama's Republican Party. That ain't it anymore. In order for us to dominate and take these people out of control and make sure they never rise up their snaky heads ever again, we need to build a big, huge 65% size tent to make sure that, yes, there are things you may not like, but these kids are still in the MAGA tent. We cannot shun them. We cannot kick them out. This is what they like. And I understand, same thing here. I need to broaden. You need to keep growing. Every single day you should say, how can you help President Trump grow his audience, grow his base, grow his supporters? By looking the other way on some of this stuff, you're not helping the MAGA movement grow. Don't shun people who you think look funny. May have some tats, may have a scruggly beard. Well, mine's kind of scruggly too. May have piercings in the ears. But if they're MAGA and they ride a big old hog, big old Harley, they love Kid Rock, or they might love John Rich, Big and Rich, big spectrum there. Maybe love Hank. Maybe want to tune into some Bocephus, followed right up with some Aerosmith. Maybe they say, hey, listen, I want to kick back and listen to some old Led Zeppelin. And at the same time, they may want to turn on some Uriah Heep. Doesn't matter what they like music-wise. If they are MAGA, they are MAGA. If you're willing to put on the red hat, if you're willing to wave the red, white, and blue striped banner, welcome. You are welcome. You are here. You have found a home in fanfare. There are a bunch of people in here who think just like you. Welcome. I want to roll the red welcome mat out to anybody who wants to see America be great again. And I don't care. I don't care what kind of music you like. Well, maybe not the guys who watch the Super Bowl halftime party, but I guess there are some people who like that Super Bowl halftime party who might be MAGA as well. Okay, well, we'll let you come on in. Begrudgingly, but we'll let you come on in. And I just want to encourage every single one of you to broaden your horizons. Don't compromise your values. Don't compromise how you feel. But broaden your horizon and say, there might be some kid. You might be 80 years old. And you have a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of experience that some kid doesn't have. and they may not have ever received the tutelage you can provide to them. Imagine that. Imagine your life experience and you've been shunned because you're racist, or you're old, or you live in the country, or whatever. But there might be somebody that you can reach out to, and you never know, and all it takes is this and a text. That's it. Boom. Those kids found me. I'm sitting here getting ready for this broadcast, and I get a DM. Barry, you got to play this. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. I'm going to have to do some editing, because you noticed I had to blank out some of those words, because some of those words, they use a whole word. I'm like, I know I can't play that. All right, so let me just stop you there. I can't go there. These people would freak out, and they'd probably, shut it down. So I can't do that. But the rest of it, I just thought it was pretty cool. The other part about that is that was obviously, unless, I don't know, I haven't seen Trump with his shirt off. Not sure. But that was obviously AI. AI used for good. AI used to push out a message. AI to make a video that's fun and uplifting and letting people know we're not taking this crap. F around and find out. And I can't tell if this is live or not. 428. Yeah, this is live from the White House. Let's go ahead and cut to this.
Immediately. But we had a very good talk with, people didn't really know what President Putin's thoughts were, but I think I can say with great confidence he wants to see it ended also. That's good. And we're going to work toward getting it ended, and as fast as possible. It's a horrible situation going over. It's flat land, and the bullet goes off, and the only thing it can hit is a body, a human body, a young human body. And they're losing just tremendous numbers of mostly soldiers. The cities and towns have been largely demolished. It's a shame what's happened to that country. It would have never happened if I were president. That I can tell you. Would have never happened. It's to look at that. And October 7th would have never happened either, by the way, Middle East. But we'll get it. I think we'll get it. We'll get something done. We're going to be meeting. Actually, tomorrow they're meeting in Munich, as you know, and we're going to have some other meetings. And I'll be dealing with President Putin largely on the phone, and we ultimately expect to meet. In fact, we expect that he'll come here, and I'll go there, and we're going to meet also probably in Saudi Arabia. The first time we'll meet in Saudi Arabia, see if we can get something done. But we want to end that war. That war is a disaster. It's a really bloody, horrible war.
Saudi Arabia, the first meeting will happen.
I think so. We think we're going to probably meet in Saudi Arabia, the first meeting. Hasn't been set, but not too distant future. We both understand, we know the Crown Prince, and I think it'd be a very good place to meet.
So it sounds like that would just be a meeting between you and Putin and perhaps the Crown Prince, but not President Zelensky?
Probably we'll have a first meeting, and then we'll see what we can do about the second meeting.
Commit to go to Ukraine?
What about Ukraine?
Did you commit to go to Ukraine?
No, I haven't. I haven't committed to go to Ukraine. I would think about going. I'd think about it. No problem.
Say today, Mr. President, that they receive your vision. What is your plan to end this war? Like today, Secretary...
Well, I'm not going to tell you my plan. I can just tell you we've made a lot of progress. This should have been done by Biden, not by me, because this has been going on for now a long time, years. And it should have been done by Biden. Just like the young gentleman that I brought home yesterday after 2 weeks. We worked on it for 2 weeks. He was a fine man, and he was in there for 3.5, almost 4 years. And they weren't able to do a thing, and I got him out. And as you know, I didn't pay $6 billion. I didn't pay anything. We did a trade, and we did a good job. We got him out in 2 weeks. It should have been out years ago. It really should have been out years ago. I don't think it's practical to have it, personally. I know that our new Secretary of Defense, who's excellent. Pete made a statement today saying that he thinks it's unlikely or impractical. I think probably that's true. I think long before President Putin, they said there's no way they'd allow that. This has been going on for many, many years. They've been saying that for a long time, that Ukraine cannot go into NATO. And I'm okay with that. I just want the war, whether they are or they're not. But it certainly would seem to be that most people have said that that is something that's not going to happen.
Are you freezing out President Zelensky of this process? Isn't there a danger of that?
No, I don't think so. As long as he's there, but at some point you're going to have elections too. You're going to have an election.
He says he wants security assurances, Mr. President. What does that look like?
In terms of what?
If the war were to end, he says he wants guarantees of security.
We'll see what that means. I think when the war ends, one thing he was very strong about, if it ends, he wants it to end. And that's President Putin said that. He wants it to end. He doesn't want to end it and then go back to fighting 6 months later. We talked about the possibility, I mentioned it, of a ceasefire so we can stop the killing. And I think we'll probably end up at some point getting a ceasefire in the not too distant future.
Do you provide as an equal member of the peace process?
Say it, what?
Do you view Ukraine as an equal member of this peace process?
It's an interesting question. I think they have to make peace. Their people are being killed, and I think they have to make peace. I said that was not a good war to go into, and I think they have to make peace. That's what I think.
Why did you decide to provide support to Ukraine? Would you support Zelensky ceding territory or exchanging territory in any agreement to end?
Well, he's going to have to do what he has to do, but, his poll numbers aren't particularly great, to put it mildly. He's got a country where, it's been savaged and attacked, and he's got an army that's been very, very brave, actually, despite the fact that, we've given him, in my opinion, $350 billion. That's what the real number is. You don't hear that number. And Europe has given, in my opinion, $100 billion. And they've done it in the form of a loan. And I have a Secretary of Treasury right now who's actually quite brave. He's over in...
That's not me. So.
And he's going there to get a document done where we're going to be assured that we're going to, in some form, get this money back, because we're putting up far more money than Europe, and Europe is in far more danger than we are. We have an ocean in between. Europe has nothing in between. They have in between, they have Ukraine in between. So wait a minute. So, as you know, Europe is putting up money, and they're getting it in the form of a loan. And the United States under Biden didn't do loans. They just handed money every time somebody walked in from Ukraine. They just handed them money foolishly. This should have never happened. It should have never started. And once it did, other things should have happened. Other things should have taken place. So we're getting security on our money. We're going to have it secured by, they have rare earth, and they have oil and gas, and they have a lot of other things. And we're asking for security on our money.
So does it mean you are not sending any
They've
more
agreed to it. Ukraine has agreed to it.
Does it mean you are not sending any more aid to Ukraine?
No, we are, but we want it secured, and the money is going to be secured.
When will the U.S. stop sending funding? When will the U.S. stop sending funding?
Because if we didn't do that, then Putin would say he won. We're the thing that's holding it back. And frankly, we'll go as long as we have to go, because we're not going to let the other happen. But President Putin wants to have peace now, and that's good. And he didn't want to have peace with Biden.
Was that conversation with Putin?
And you tell me why that is, okay?
Was that conversation with Putin to start these negotiations part of the deal to bring Fogel home?
No, but it was a nice thing that he allowed Mark Fogel to leave. In fact, Mark wasn't feeling well, but he was all of a sudden about 2 weeks ago, he started being treated very nicely. He said they took him out for haircuts. They took him out. They helped him out a little bit and made him feel better, made him look better. And they were nice to him. And he said, I saw something happening. And it coincided with when I came into office. So that was nice. And he's a fine person. He was so happy to be out. He was there for 3.5 years plus. and he shouldn't have been there at all. They should have had him out much faster than that. Wait, go ahead, please.
Sorry, sir, just to be clear, do you see any future in which Ukraine returns to its pre-2014 borders?
Well, I think Pete said today that that's unlikely, right? It certainly would seem to be unlikely. They took a lot of land, and they fought for that land, and they lost a lot of soldiers. But it would just seem to me, and I'm not making an opinion on it, but I've read a lot on it, and a lot of people think that that's unlikely. Some of it will come back. I think some of it will come back. Yeah, some of that land will come back. Who are you with? Yeah. You who?
AFP, Agence France Presse.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask you, the things that the Secretary of Defense was talking about, the 2014 borders and the lack of NATO membership. Ultimately, these are both demands that Russia has made in the past. Is there not a danger of handing Russia a kind of win on this?
Well, I think that if you look at the war, the way the war is going, you'll have to make your own determination. I'm just here to try and get peace. I don't care so much about anything other than I want to stop having millions of people killed. Last night, Kiev got hit very, very hard. I want to see people stop getting killed. That war is ridiculous. It should have never happened, and it would have never happened. Yeah, a couple of more questions.
Are you planning to sign? Are you planning to sign an executive order of reciprocal tariffs, sir?
Yes, I am. In fact, I may do it today, and if I do it today, I could almost do it right now. Would you like me to talk about it now? I don't want to take anything away from this young lady's day, because this is her day, and I may do it later on, or I may do it tomorrow morning, but we'll be signing reciprocal tariffs. The world has taken advantage of the United States for many years. They've charged us massive tariffs that we haven't charged them. And as you know, I just did something on steel and aluminum, 25%. That'll go up at some point, but 25%, which will level the playing field quite a bit. I did it previously 50%, and Obama was very weak, and Biden was even weaker on steel. The steel was just absolutely, it really started with Obama. The world really took advantage of us, and then that morphed into Biden. And what they did was he was so worried about trying to attack his political opponent that he didn't know what he was doing with respect to countries taking advantage. He should have looked at the countries, both friend and foe, taking advantage of us. So we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs, which is whatever they charge, we charge, very simply. But we're going to be...
Considering exemption, talk about widespread fraud and abuse.
Oh, yeah, tremendous fraud. There's tremendous fraud. And it's hard to believe that you can have that kind of fraud. You're talking about are you talking about what? Wait. Which are you talking? You're talking about with regard to all of the investigations that are going on about this stupidity. What we're going to do is tomorrow I'm having a news conference. I'm going to read to you some of the names that hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars have been given to. And if you tell me that we should be giving money to those things, those entities, I think you'll probably have to leave as a reporter because you're not very talented. When you look at the kind of money, billions and billions of dollars being thrown away illegally, and there's no chance. I mean, I say it in front of our Attorney General, there's no chance that there's not kickbacks or something going on. When you give millions and millions of dollars to somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars, that money's coming back in some form. And that's only one form of corruption. The biggest thing is what they do to our country. They're taking massive amounts of money and spending it on items. I went through a list of 200 expenditures that were made, and I found 3 that looked like they were reasonable. Okay, 3. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow. We have a lot of stuff. And I want to commend Elon because he's done he doesn't need this. You know, he's abused by you people every day. He's found more things than anybody could find. I think he's got the credibility to do it. I know he does. And it's his group of people. You know, they started off with 12. I call them 12 geniuses. They started off with 12, and they went to 20 and 25, and now they're up to almost 100. People are joining to help them because there's a massive fraud that's taken place. And then you have judges that are activists, and they sit there and they say, oh, as an example, $59 million going to a little small group in New York City. You get nothing going to North Carolina to help nothing. They say, we don't have any money because they've given it away on the border. But you have nothing. What they did to North Carolina is a shame. And then they sent $59 million to New York City for a hotel for a little bit of nothing, what they've done. A hotel that was not luxury, that's getting luxury rates for migrants, where they're making a fortune. And we catch them. But a judge says, well, even though it may be a fraud, you have to send the money in anyway. Send the money. I said, wait a minute. We have money that shouldn't go because we caught it before it was sent out. But they want the money to go anyway. And I think you're going to have a lot of things to look at, Pam. I really do. What's going on with this whole thing. And this is just one group. We haven't talked about Department of Education. We haven't talked about the military. We haven't talked about a lot of things that are very big. And what's happened is, as an example, you'll have cases where you have a 3-month contract, and maybe the guy that signs the contract leaves. Maybe he gets rich. All of a sudden he leaves for that reason. But you have a 3-month contract, and maybe he leaves. So the contract is sitting there, and the people signing the checks don't know it's 3 months, and it goes on for years. The 3 months turns out to be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Just goes on forever. And the guy on the other side of the contract just keeps getting check after check after check, because Elon had an expression yesterday, because nobody cares. It's a great expression. Nobody cares. The guy that signed the contract didn't care. May be there, may not be there, may be crooked. Who knows? But you have to care. Otherwise, you can't really run a thing like that, or you can't run a country, really. Because there's so many transactions, thousands and thousands of transactions. And if you don't have people that care, you're going to lose control. And that's what's happened. And we've caught it. Now, what we caught is billions and billions of dollars, but it's a tiny fraction of the real number. Because you can never catch the real number, because people have gotten away with tremendous amounts of money. But I said we have to make our government smaller, more efficient, more effective, and a lot less expensive. And we could find $1 trillion, but we're being hindered by courts where they file in certain courts where it's very hard to win. And a judge will stop us, and a judge will say that it doesn't make any difference what you find. You just keep paying the money. That's a hell of a way to be. And I follow the courts. I have to follow the law. All it means is that we appeal. But that gives people time to cover their tracks, and that's what they do. So it's a very bad thing that's taking place. But hopefully, if the courts, will be fair. They don't have to be very fair. They just have to be a little bit fair, because this is so egregious what's taken place. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Nobody's seen numbers like this. These are massive numbers. $9 million for somebody to go and stand in a store and see how people shop. Okay, I mean, you take a look at these things. It's a disgrace. And then you have a country that we want to make America great again. It's very hard to make America great again when you have things like this. And you're going to see the same thing. Department of Education is going to be a disaster. The military, I mean, I see it. Look, I came in, they had a contract done, as you know, for $5.7 billion for airplanes. It was Air Force One with Boeing. 5.7. I got it down to $4 billion, little less than that, 1 penny less than that. $3,999,999.99. I said, has to have a 3 in front of it, because I wouldn't sign the contract for $5.7 billion. I was able to cut $1.7 billion off the price, and it didn't take me long. $1.7 billion. If people would care, they'd be able to do that with every single contract that's put before them. And we wouldn't have deficits. We'd have nothing but a tremendously low-taxed, wonderful country. But they have to care. And speaking of that, you know, Boeing, we're not happy with the service we're getting in terms of those planes. They would like to get more money we're not happy about that whole thing. We signed a very strong contract. I signed a guaranteed maximum contract, which they haven't seen in a long time. And they're saying they're getting hurt by it. But they have to produce the product, and we expect them to produce the product. They have to produce the product. They agreed to build planes at a certain price. They're not used to that. They're used to having time and material contracts where it's whatever it costs, time and material, no dates, no anything, and it ends up costing 5 times more. You look at some of the ships that have been built. Take a look at the Gerald Ford, the aircraft carrier, the Ford. It was supposed to cost $3 billion. It ends up costing like $18 billion. And they make, of course, all electric catapults, which don't work. And they have all magnetic elevators to lift up 25 planes at a time, 20 planes at a time. And instead of using hydraulic, like on tractors that can handle anything from hurricanes to lightning to anything, they use magnets. It's a new theory. Magnets are going to lift the planes up, and it doesn't work. And they had billions and billions of dollars of cost overruns. I met the architect. I said, have you designed a ship before? This is one of the biggest ships in the world. It's like landing at LaGuardia Airport. But you look at the kind of waste, fraud, and abuse that this country is going through, and we have to straighten it out. We have great people going into the military in terms of we need ships, we need a lot of things. We have great people we have business people going in. But when you look at what's happened to our purchasing, and when you look at the USAID, when you look at the things that they're giving to them, the billions of dollars that they're giving to, and it doesn't make sense. It is interesting that when you're looking for fraud, you look at items, hundreds of items, and you'll find 1 or 2, maybe, if you're lucky. Here's something where you look at data, and they're all fraudulent. You know, by just looking at the topic, they're all fraudulent, except it's the opposite. You'll find 1 or 2 that's like a legitimate reason. So I just want to thank Elon for going through it. I want to thank all the people that are working with him. You know, we have a big group of people. I think the lowest IQ is about 160. That's very high. I think you have a couple of 182s in there, but they're doing a fantastic job. He doesn't need it, and they don't need it, but we're showing things, and it's going to be it's a big. People have no idea how important it is. Yeah.
How soon do you want the Department of Education to be closed?
Oh, I'd like it to be closed immediately. Look, the Department of Education's a big con job. We're ranked, so they rank the top 40 countries in the world. We're ranked number 40th. But we're ranked number 1 in one department, cost per pupil. So we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world, but we're ranked number 40. We've been between 38 and 40. The last time I looked, it was 38, and then I looked 2 days ago, it came out the new list. It came out at number 40, so we're ranked 40. Norway, Denmark, Sweden, I hate to say it, China, as big as it is, it's ranked in the top 5, and that's a primary competitor. We're ranked number 40. So if we're ranked number 40, that means something's really wrong, right? And I say send it back to Iowa, to Idaho, to Colorado. Send it back to places that, and there are a lot of Indiana. You have a great new governor. You have a great senator that Jim Banks just got elected. You got great people. I'll tell you what, Indiana is going to be fantastic. We probably have 35, maybe 37 states that will do as well as Denmark, Norway, Finland, Sweden. They'll be just as good. Then you have the ones that we all know about. It'll be the same story, but you know what? Even they will be good. Because you look at New York, you give it to Westchester County, you give it to Long Island, you give it to Nassau County, you give it to Suffolk County. Same thing you go out to, and you give it to upstate New York. So you'd have 4 or 5 sections. You give it to Manhattan. Manhattan's a little bit tougher. For some reason. I don't know why it would be tougher, but it is. You give to California, and you go to various areas outside of Los Angeles, and you might have 6 or 7 different subgroups. But generally, like if you go to Iowa, you give it to Iowa. You don't have subgroups, you have Iowa. And other places that do a good job. If they do a good job, they're going to do a great job in education. Those places will be every bit as good as the various countries that do so well all the time, and it's the same countries that are doing well. And so we have a Department of Education where people from Washington, D.C., who in many cases don't care about the kids out in the country. They don't care about the farms and the farmer's daughter and the farmer's sons. We have a massive bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. We have buildings that are all over the city. Department of Education. I never said Department of Education's on all these buildings. By the way, nobody shows up to work because they're all working at home. You know, quote, working at home. They're not working at home. And a lot of them have second jobs. And that's the other thing that Elon Musk is looking at. How many of these people are getting checks, working at home, but they're not working because they have second jobs and even third jobs? You're going to find a lot of them. And those people are going to be fired because we have to make our government smaller. All right, one more question. Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead. Nice to see you.
Thank you, sir. Two questions. One on Ukraine again, and then another one on the Kennedy Center. Do you think that as far as your negotiating tactics go, did Pete Hegseth take away some of your negotiating abilities with Putin by taking Ukraine's sovereign integrity off the table by taking?
No, I haven't done that. I'm backing Ukraine. I'm backing Ukraine. Don't say that. I'm approving, but I do want security for our money. You know, Europe is getting security. You know that, right? They're giving their money in the form of a loan. Nobody knows that. And why are we at 350 billion and Europe, which doesn't separate with an ocean like we do, we have a little thing called an ocean in between. Why is it that Europe is paying 200 billion less than us to help Ukraine? Very similar size. If you add up all the European countries, it's a little bit smaller than the U.S. in terms of the economy. Why is it that they're not paying the kind of numbers that they should be paying? And then on top of it, and I've been saying this to Biden, I told Biden, I said, you ought to be asking for either a loan or some kind of a security, like their oil and gas or something for the money, because you're putting up much more money than Europe, and you have no security. Europe's putting up a much smaller amount, and it's in the form of a loan. Because we have people that were incompetent in the last administration, grossly incompetent, and we're changing it. But we change it, and all we do is we get hit by lawsuits from the radical left all the time. But here we are, we stand, and I guess we've done okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so now we're just waiting for things to catch up and for Pam. Okay, that was the end of the swearing-in ceremony for Tulsi Gabbard. And Pam Bondi was the one who swore in Tulsi Gabbard. Now we're going to be cutting over to the conversation. Am I still streaming? I don't see anything. Yeah, we're going to be cutting over to the conversation with, the press conference with Pam Bondi. Just waiting for that to show up. Let me just make sure. Okay, looks like everything's okay. I thought we had lost something because the chat was like going crazy, but then it kind of slowed down. So I hope everything is copacetic. Let me just see. Maybe it's just there. Okay. Yeah. All right. Everybody says that they're good. They're good. Okay. All right. So I'm just waiting for them to show up at the press conference. Interesting. This guy, President Trump, he just comes out and says what he wants to say, doesn't care what's scheduled. He understands that he is the focus, the bully pulpit. The problem right now is the media doesn't know how to deal with him. The media still thinks they're talking to Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. They're not used to this guy just turning around and smacking him. Just straight up smacking him upside the head. So you're asking these questions and you get the answers that you're pretty much not prepared to get. Let's see here. Trump is the greatest president ever. In my lifetime, I've never seen anybody command a stage the way this man commands a stage. And I don't even think he did this during his first term, excuse me. This looks like it's all brand new, maybe the real Trump. This is the Trump after you tried to shoot him. This is a Trump who's I don't give a F. You guys who saw the earlier music video, F around and find out, I think we're seeing that across the entirety of this administration and how they're handling things. I could not be prouder of everything that Caroline Leavitt did at her press conference today. She put fists and boots up against the neck of, the media. They couldn't handle her. They're not used to this. They are facing the most formidable force and response they have ever had, which is why they scurry back quickly to their corners of the world on CNN and MSNBC or wherever, because it's safe to them. It's like a big giant blanket, safe space. They can't step out of it. It used to be they were the ones who were attacking Trump and Trump's administration, and it didn't have the same kind of fire coming back. You can tell at this point that Donald Trump is, and I can't wait to see how Pam Bondi handles herself. I'm telling you right now, being in Florida, I've heard this woman talk many, many times. Some of you may have not, you probably never heard her talk. Think about that. We here in Florida, we've seen press conferences with her and sheriffs and all kinds of things, and she brings heat. And you could tell during her confirmation hearing, she wasn't taking crap from Adam Schiff. Nope, not whatsoever. So if these people in this press room think that they're going to get over on Pam Bondi, they got another thing coming. See, many of them, like many of you, are not used to hearing her speak. She's eloquent. She's forceful. She takes no prisoners. She has already got the experience of being someone in a strong, powerful position down here. Don't let that blonde hair and that look think you're gonna get over on her. That ain't gonna happen. Not at all. She's battle tested. Now, what's weird is not weird, but one thing you should know is the people who attend the press conference that you saw earlier with Caroline Leavitt are not the same people who will be attending the press conference right here for the most part. It's a different press pool. So who knows how this is gonna turn out, but it's not the same. She's not the same. She has not walked out yet, so as soon as she comes in, easy on the blondes. Nope, I'm not saying anything negative about Pam Bondi. I'm not saying anything negative about Caroline Leavitt. What I was inferring is these idiots who take her lightly. She's a straight up assassin, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Caroline Leavitt was amazing. Just they're not used to this. Yeah, now she's the Attorney General of the United States. Pam Bondi made some Democrats look like monkeys during her confirmation hearing. She sure did. All right, so here's what's going to happen. She's going to do this press conference, and I got a couple news items I want to share for you, and then, continue taking comments. And thank you guys very much for tuning in for this second show of the day as we wait for her to show up. And then tonight, this probably won't be your this probably won't be your 3-hour show. I can't believe those words come out about 3 hours. Normally, it seems like every show at this point has become 2.5, 3 hours. This one probably won't be this way. I'm just going to go take your comments, couple news items, take the press conference, then I'm going to shut down and then get ready for the 8 o'clock show, which will be a full show. And with everything that's happening, it may indeed end up being a 3-hour show tonight, which I'd love for you to attend. Eat your dinner, spend some time with the family, and then get on in here at about 8 o'clock. So she still hasn't walked out, so we're looking at an empty podium. It is now 5 o'clock. So I don't know how long she'll go, but obviously every single second that she's talking, we will for sure cover. Where can I find that AI of Trump playing the drums? Oh, so once we get off here, because I get a lot of comments like, hey man, I got to download that. So what I'll do is I'll post it in the group. If you haven't been to our group, go join our private group, and I'll put it on my personal profile as well. And I'm going to tag the guys who created that so you can tell them, hey, great job as well. And so somebody said, who's singing? A computer. What? That's nobody singing? Nope. That's AI. The music, AI. Obviously, the imagery is AI. Do your business with your family, then come back to the fanfare family. Yes, exactly. The longer, the better. Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, let me see. I see some movement. Some people in the side stage left or stage right, depending on where you're standing. Trump is gonna name names. So after SB says we're at 14,917. You go, people. You go. There were some people stirring around, but she has not walked out as of yet. What happened with Tulsi Gabbard? Tulsi Gabbard is now your confirmed and sworn in the Director of National Security Intelligence at NSI. I think that's what it is. So she's in office. She probably putting up the pictures in her office and getting to work. She'll be working hand in hand, obviously, with John Ratcliffe, the new director of the CIA, and I'm sure she'll be working with Pam Bondi. And as soon as he's confirmed, she'll be working with Kash Patel. And in a little bit, she's working with Pete Hegseth. She is the hub of the spoke. So all these other big cabinet positions, CIA, FBI, Attorney General, even Treasury to a certain extent, because they have some enforcement powers, they all get that information from NSI. So she's the one who's the feeder of all that information. We're still waiting for her to come up. Yes, Barry, I'm old, but I tell you what, when I go out to the grocery store in a bit, I'm going to crank that up. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The very first time I heard it, I went, wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. President Trump's daily fireside chats like Roosevelt. It's funny when he says, put yourself in the shoes of one of these people in the press. And now you've seen him a number of times completely embarrass an idiot. If you know he's the obvious slayer of idiot press people, maybe you shouldn't go in there and be an idiot press person. He's going to slay you. Who are you? Where are you from? That's stupid. The President of the United States just said you're a flipping moron. Take that and put it on your resume. Although some libs were probably like, yeah, I got called on. He called me an idiot. Ooh, RFK Jr. Okay, RFK Jr., he passed his cloture vote today. So meaning 53 to 40, whatever. He passed cloture. Let me see. Somebody's walking up. They just texted in the microphone. So now he's on the clock. And what I mean by on the clock, the Democrats can delay and obfuscate for up to 30 hours. So since that vote came down at about, I think it was about 12 noon, that vote came down in terms of they closed the debate, they closed the discussion. That's what cloture means. Big word for just meaning, can we move on? Can we just go get him voted in? Yes, okay, now you can go vote for him. But you have to wait because the Democrats are going to scream and moan and scream and moan and just have probably one after the other go up and give a speech. But they got 30 hours to do it. So that being said, if he went through cloture today at, say, around noon, let's just for easy math, 24 hours would make it noon. Tomorrow would be the vote. If it's 30 hours, it would mean 6 p.m. tomorrow is the vote. So sometime between noon and probably 7 p.m. will be the final vote on RFK Jr. Either way, by about 7 p.m., 7:30, let's give it 8 o'clock. By 8 o'clock tomorrow, RFK Jr. will be confirmed. And then as you see how fast Trump's people move, once he's confirmed, he's probably going to get sworn in by 10 p.m. So tomorrow, RFK Jr. will be the director, or secretary rather, of Health and Human Services. Well, let me explain to you what this is, the 30 hours of stalling. what that is for anybody who cares. Why would they wait 30 hours to do this? What's the purpose of it? Well, obviously, one, to slow things down. Number two, they're going to get up and they're going to give speeches, and they may talk and bitch and complain, but all that gets put on the record, meaning someone in the future, somebody who's bored, can go back, if it's, let's say 2045, 20 years from now, they can go back and go, what was said during Kennedy's confirmation process? And they can dig up all these speeches and everything, and it's on the record. Well, on the record only really matters if something happens. Meaning, he got confirmed, he was terrible, something happened, they can go, oh, hey, listen, back in 2025, on the record here, it says they were concerned about what he was doing with, jabs and stuff. That's the only reason it's there. It's just there as a historical record in the archives that somebody can go back to and reference anytime in the future. So in other words, it means absolutely nothing. Nothing. It literally is a delay tactic. Let's see here. Cloture means it's advanced for full Senate vote. The Dems will filibuster for 30 hours, bashing the nominee, the president, and the administration, which is all they're doing. That's all it is. And so I'm seeing FBI. Okay, we got some movement. We have movement. We have guys in black windbreakers showing up. So pretty much that looks like FBI. Everything else, people are moving into position. It's funny, the guy's like, move over this way, move over. You got to look this way. Don't get in front of the flag. I mean, in terms of the seal. So she's got 1, 2, 3, 4 FBI agents behind her. She has not walked out yet. As soon as she walks out, of course, we will take it. These people look like props the way they're standing there. Waiting and waiting and waiting. If Cash gets in, that will be a huge win. I think he's getting in. I think at this point, Mitch McConnell, that's it. That's it, bro. You got nothing left. You have nothing at all left. The name's Bondi. Pam Bondi. Really. So she's got these 4 people just standing there waiting for her to come out. And she hasn't walked out yet. We are live. We are absolutely live. Not missing anything. And there was a guy in here earlier who was saying that, it's funny, these trolls come in here and they try to give misinformation. Oh, Trump can't do anything. Judges shut him down, yada, yada, yada. Well, he didn't mention that a judge, again, came back and said, no, he can do stuff. So right now, who do you believe? Which judge order do you got to, take precedence? So he's got 2 conflicting orders, so that means you don't have any orders. Supreme Court, here you go. Barry, can you send a link to that video? I will post it right after this show. So as soon as we're done here, I will post it on my profile, and you could rip it and do whatever you need to do it. The only thing I want you to do, when you take the video and download it, at the very end is basically a branding of the 2 guys who made it. Keep that intact. They put some work into it, obviously. And so when you're out there sharing it, just go ahead and make sure you keep their stuff on the ends. Okay, here we go. She's walking out.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry we were a little bit late. I was in the West Wing swearing in Tulsi Gabbard, and so I just came straight back here. So thanks for being patient with us with the delay. We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today. As you know, we sued Illinois, and New York didn't listen. So now you're next. Millions of illegal aliens with violent records have flooded into our communities, bringing violence and deadly drugs with them. With me today, I'm so proud to be joined by Tammy Nobles. Tammy is an angel mom. Her beautiful daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered by an MS-13 member in 2022. Kayla had just turned 20 years old, and she was raped and murdered by someone who should not have been in our country. Yet, he was released, flown to Maryland, where he committed this violent murder. I just want you to hear from Tammy. Tammy represents not only herself and her family, but all of the great angel moms around this country who have suffered because of what the Biden administration did, and it is over.
Thank you for having me here today and being able to share Kayla's story. Her murderer was able to come across the border knowing that he was flagged as an MS-13 gang member, and he had a criminal record in 2020 in El Salvador for illicit gang activity. He came over as an unoccupied alien child, saying that he was afraid of gang activity in his country. Health and Human Services called him a nice boy, and he showed age-appropriate behavior. That fell so wrong when he murdered my daughter. He ended up in Maryland, where he was able to rent a room in the same mobile home as her. We thought it was a legit company that were renting out these rooms, but it turned out that it was another illegal immigrant who owned these mobile homes, and he knew Walter from El Salvador. He knew him and allowed him to rent a room with my child. Kayla just turned 20 years old 3 days before she was murdered. Her murderer was only living there for 5 days before he viciously strangled her, raped her, and left her on the floor like trash and robbed her of $6. I have been sharing her story for over 2.5 years to bring change, because this should have not have ever happened to Kayla, and it shouldn't be happening to other families being hurt by the border. Homeland Security did not do their jobs. They did not check his background. You know, they did say that he was processed. So if they processed him, they knew that he was a gang member and still allowed him here. Health and Human Services did not verify the sponsor and allowed him to go with a sponsor that they don't even know if it was his cousin or his aunt. And he was able to leave the sponsor's house to go live wherever he wanted. And I am going to continue sharing Kayla's story to help save others and to bring awareness of what was happening under the Biden-Harris administration. And I'm so thankful for Pam having me here today, and I'm so thankful for the opportunities I got from Trump and any other platform, you know, people who allowed me to share her story, because this is going to end. No other parent should suffer by having their child murdered by somebody that shouldn't be here. And I'm going to continue, you know, sharing it, and for Kayla, you know, and also for others. Thank you.
And it's my understanding that he also admitted to other murders, correct? Multiple murders.
He wrote a letter, and it was intercepted in jail, that he committed 4 murders and 2 rapes.
And that's who we were letting walk into our country. And that's why President Trump has directed this to stop. And if you don't comply with federal law, we will hold you accountable. We did it to Illinois. Strike 1. Strike 2 is New York. And if you are a state not complying with federal law, you're next. Get ready. And the great men and women of law enforcement are standing behind me today. We have FBI,
DEA, ATF agents, they put their lives on the line every single day to protect us. And what New York has, they have green light laws, meaning they're giving a green light to any illegal alien in New York where law enforcement officers cannot check their identity if they pull them over. Law enforcement officers do not have access to their background. And if these great men and women pull over someone and don't have access to their background, they have no idea who they're dealing with. And it puts their lives on the line every single day. Violent criminals, gang members, drug traffickers, human smugglers will no longer terrorize the American people. And that is why we are here today. You will be held accountable if you do not follow federal law. It's over, it ends, and we're coming after you. Questions?
David Spott with Fox News.
Madam Attorney General, thank you and welcome to the Justice Department.
Thank you.
I have a quick on-topic and a quick off-topic
Sure.
question. On-topic, in your executive order or in your orders on the first day you were here, you talked about working with the Justice Department, or these sanctuary cities, as you say, will be
Yes.
punished. Today you're putting people on notice. Right now, we're just lawsuits. Is this going to go further? What kind of punishment are we talking about? Is there any grounds to charge individuals, charge politicians? How far is this going to go?
Well, we're going to see what they do next, David. We have sued them all. We've personally sued the governor, the attorney general, Letitia James, and Mark Schroeder with DMV because he has the green light laws. So what they have to do, they have to start complying with federal law. If they don't, we're going to appeal it, and we will win. They have to comply with federal law. Did you have a second question?
I did have a second off-topic question in this regard to the judiciary. Today, Elon Musk, who has enormous influence in the Trump administration, posted on X, quote, "There needs to be an immediate wave of judicial impeachments, not just one." As the Attorney General of the United States, how do you respond to that? Shouldn't the process work out in the courts before we talk about judicial impeachments? I mean, these are just TROs now at this time. Shouldn't these just play out?
Yeah, I haven't seen Elon Musk tweet. He is a friend of mine. He is a great man. I think he's very frustrated with what's happening in our federal government. You know, at USAID alone, they're giving out billions of dollars that should not be distributed. We're going to back him up. You know, we work our whole lives in this country, and we all pay taxes in this country. And for people to find out that $2 million is going to Guatemala for sex changes is outrageous. And we're going to back up Elon Musk every way we can. That includes lawsuits against these people who are doing that, and we will be successful.
Do you have concerns about impeachments?
That's not going to happen now. We're going to look at everything. We're going to follow the law right now. We're going to follow the process. These are federal judges with lifetime appointments, but they will be struck down ultimately by the Supreme Court of the United States if the appellate courts don't follow the law as well.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks so much. I also have an on-topic and an off-topic.
Sure.
First of all, can you just briefly walk us through what the legal claims are you're making in this lawsuit?
Yeah, absolutely. So the green light laws are that this is what the green light law says. It's a green light to illegal immigration, which says they can comply. That law is unconstitutional. They can't do that. And what they've done is they have a tip-off provision that requires New York's DMV commissioner to promptly inform any illegal alien when a federal immigration agency has requested their information. So think about the men and women in law enforcement behind me. That's basically, that's not basic. It's tipping off an illegal alien, and it's unconstitutional. And that's why we filed this lawsuit, and that's why we charge Mark Schroeder, too, because he runs DMV. Oh, I'm sorry, you had a second question.
Yeah, my off-topic question. I wanted to ask about Mayor Eric
Yes.
Adams' case. As of at least a few moments ago, SDNY still has not dropped that case. Have you or other DOJ leadership spoken to the acting U.S. attorney in SDNY since the memo was sent earlier this week? And what will you do if she refuses to drop the case?
I have not spoken to her. I know our acting DAG, Emil Bove, has spoken to her. And
Chad Mizell may have spoken to her, but that case should be dropped. It was done at the directive of AML, so that case should be dropped. I did not know that it had not been dropped yet, but I will certainly look into that.
Megan, Daily Caller.
Hi,
Hi,
thank you.
how are you?
Tom Homan suggested this week that someone from within the FBI may be leaking information about the ICE raids and that such could be putting officers' lives at risk. Has the DOJ gotten any closer to determining if these leaks are coming from within the FBI? And what will the consequences be if they can identify the leakers from the FBI?
Excuse me. Well, first, I can't talk about anything that is ongoing, and that is ongoing. And it's really for the similar reasons of what I said earlier. The great men and women in law enforcement standing behind me today, they must be protected. And anytime anyone leaks or tips off anything regarding a pending investigation, that jeopardizes lives. You're telling a bad guy what's about to happen. It could jeopardize the lives of all the men and women in law enforcement. We will not stand for it. We will find you. We're going to investigate it, no matter what agency it came from. We don't know for certain. We have an open investigation, so I can't talk about it in detail, but we will do everything in our power to hold you accountable, and it is a crime. And you will be prosecuted when we find you.
Okay, guys, time for one more. Alana Austin, Newsmax.
Hi, Madam Attorney General. Thank you so much for your time. I was also interested in hearing specifically what the interactions have been like with Mayor Adams. And I know he has a little bit of a different tone than some of the other Democrats out of the Empire State. And then also Denver Mayor Mike Johnston, because before the President Trump went back into office, he had issued some words about a potential standoff and then walked that back. So I was curious to see what things have been like out of New York City and Denver officials.
Yeah, well, we're hoping that in New York, Mayor Adams is going to cooperate with us, with the sanctuary cities and the illegal aliens. And has the mayor in Colorado been cooperating? Do we know? I believe he might have now. Yeah, I believe Colorado is now cooperating. That's what we want. We don't want to sue you. We don't want to prosecute people. We want people to comply with the law. This is very simple. An MS-13 member murdered her daughter. That's happening throughout this country. We have one angel mom is too many. And we have angel moms throughout this country who should not be going through this. Comply with the law. This is the last thing we want to be doing. We want to be out there, all of us, fighting violent crime. Yet we're fighting illegal aliens, and that ends, and it's going to end today.
That's all we have time for, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so, whoa, OMG, wow. So someone asked me, because I had written down in a comment that it looks to me like Eric Adams has flipped. And somebody goes, what do you mean by flipped? You find it odd that she comes out and says this stuff today. And just a couple days ago, we found out that the charges against him have been dropped. So if the charges against him have been dropped out of the blue, as I fix my thing here, what do you think that means? Because now there's no charges being brought against Eric Adams, and Donald Trump's Department of Justice has dropped the charges. That's usually what happens when somebody flips. That's usually what happens when somebody becomes state's evidence, as they say. So has Mayor Adams decided, I'm going to align with Trump and Bondi, and Kathy Hochul and you Democrats can go pound sand. I'm going to give her all the goods. Meaning, if he has, quote, flipped, and he was involved in so many of the conversations backdoor, if he knows what was discussed, if he knows what emails were sent, if he knows all of this, and he's already been working with Pam Bondi. Letitia James is pretty much effed. Now, this is the part, let me go back here. This is the part we didn't see. You guys all saw when Trump was doing the press conference, but you missed the actual swearing in of Tulsi Gabbard. And the people at RSBN are showing that right now. So let's go ahead and cover the actual swearing in. Shouldn't be too long.
It worked out very well. Tulsi Gabbard's an American of extraordinary courage and exceptional patriotism. She's devoted her entire life to public service, and I've watched her for years on different shows and everything. I said, she's a woman of great common sense, and, you know, we like the common sense. It's a word that's been used a lot. I think we started it in terms of politics, but it's a word that's used a lot. It's usually pretty effective, too, and you really are. I've watched you, even on Larry King. You know, you're very young. I don't know how you were Larry King, but you're very young. But you were, and you always had the situation covered properly. At 21 years old, Tulsi became the youngest woman ever elected to the Hawaii State Legislature. After 9/11, she joined the Hawaii Army National Guard and deployed abroad 3 times, and highly respected by everybody. So many people writing in letters saying she was so exceptional even then. She continues to serve as a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserve, and Tulsi also served 4 terms in the United States House of Representatives, where she was a member of the House Armed Services Committee. She is a former vice chair of the National Democratic Party. Can you believe that? And here she is. That's very nice. We have a few of them. But she was never a Democrat. She was, at heart, she was a Republican. I watched her. And was a 2020 Democrat candidate for President of the United States. It's not easy, right? It's not so easy. People think it's easy. It's not easy. Throughout her service, Tulsi has always distinguished herself as a leader of the highest caliber. She's earned the respect and admiration and love of Americans on both sides of the aisle as her profound commitment to the values that keep us free, and she really does have those values as much as anybody. In recent years, Tulsi has been a courageous and often lonely voice speaking out against radical left's attacks on free speech and the dangers of an unelected deep state. And I have to say she was very, very strong for me when I was going through all of the fake news and all of the problems that we had with some very sick people. She was always out there. Before I really knew her as well, she was out there defending me, so I appreciated that, Tulsi. But the threat of a warmongering military-industrial complex and the weaponization of government and governmental people that go out and persecute. They like to persecute people that are innocent. Tulsi herself became a target of that weaponization when she was outrageously placed on a suspected terrorist watch list by the Biden regime. It's a very evil regime after criticizing their appalling abuses of power. And I'm confident that as director of the National Intelligence, Tulsi will work tirelessly to keep America safe. And she's been doing that her entire career. I think it's going to be a very natural day for you when you walk in. It's just have to keep the way you are. Just stay the way you are. She'll be clear-eyed and she'll be focused on the threat of radical Islamic terrorism and lots of other threats, too. Threats from within, and give no quarter to America's foreign enemies. At the same time, I'm entrusting Tulsi with the responsibility of overseeing urgently needed reforms to the U.S. intelligence community to protect the rights and the civil liberties of all Americans. She'll provide the American people with transparency, eliminate corruption, shrink the bloated bureaucracy, and restore honesty, integrity, and trust to the national security state. There's only one thing I can say, that there's nobody like her for this job. This was a very easy one for me. She was recommended by some of the top people in that world. It's a little world, you know. It's a little smart world. It sometimes can be an evil world when the wrong people are there, but we have the right one. She's had so many great recommendations. I would say Pam was right up there with her, Pam Bondi. She had a lot. I know her a little bit better, and you're doing a fantastic job after about 3 or 4 days, right? You've had a lot of experience, but you've never seen anything like this, Pam. But you're going to do fantastic as the Attorney General. Fantastic. So thank you and congratulations. We did this with Pam a few days ago, and this is again my honor. So congratulations to Tulsi, and I think Pam is going to administer the oath, and when she does that, I'll sign your new certificate. Good. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody.
Please place your left hand on the Constitution and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I, Tulsi Gabbard, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
and
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
Discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
How's the Oval Office looking? A little different look, right? It's the Oval Office.
Easy.
Yeah, we got a good one here. Okay, not bad. Ready? I'll stand up there. I think we'll do it right here. Come on over here, Abraham. Okay, I'm sure there are no questions.
Mr. President, where will you be with
You know what? I'd like to have Tulsi say a few words first, and we could answer a couple of questions. Okay? Good. Leave that. That's good.
Mr. President, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the trust that you have placed in me to fulfill this critical position as Director of National Intelligence at any time, but specifically during this time. Unfortunately, the American people have very little trust in the intelligence community, largely because they've seen the weaponization and politicization of an entity that is supposed to be purely focused on ensuring our national security. So I look forward to being able to help fulfill that mandate that the American people delivered to you very clearly in this election, to refocus our intelligence community by empowering the great patriots who have chosen to serve our country in this way, and focus on ensuring the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. As you've said, Mr. President, this is what I've dedicated my life to, and it is truly humbling to be in this position, to serve in your administration, help to rebuild that trust, and ultimately to keep the American people safe. Last thing I'll mention, that in your National Prayer Breakfast speech, you made a statement about your legacy of wanting to be remembered as a peacemaker. I know that I can speak for many of my fellow service members who are here today, veterans, Medal of Honor recipients, how deeply that resonates with us. For those who volunteer to put their lives on the line when duty calls, but to have a President and Commander-in-Chief who recognizes the cost of that sacrifice and ensuring that war is the last resort, not the first. So thank you for your leadership on behalf of my friends here and all who wear the uniform. We're grateful. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. When and where do you plan on meeting with Vladimir Putin? And were there any preconditions set to agree to this meeting?
No, we had a great call, and it lasted for a long time.
Okay, so that's where we picked up earlier. We hadn't seen the actual swearing in. So now she's been sworn in. Pam Bondi has, she said charges. And I was like, charges? A lawsuit is different than filing charges. So I want to look at the document that she put out there. Was she indeed charged, meaning criminal charges? I don't think she meant criminal charges. We'll have to see. But in any event, there were a couple comments that I looked in here. And the comments that I was seeing was, I don't trust Eric Adams. Yeah, he has said some bad things and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, I'm not supporting Eric Adams. I'm just talking to you about the potentiality of what he's been doing legally. To me, to save his own butt, he got the charges dropped against him. Pam Bondi had to be the person to drop those charges. Doesn't take a big leap to see, well, she dropped the charges because he's working with them. That could be amazing given what's been going on in New York City. Eric Adams, if he's indeed working with Pam Bondi and has, quote, flipped, this guy knows everything about Judge Merchant. He knows everything about Alvin Bragg. He knows everything about Kathy Hochul. He knows everything about Letitia James. He knows everything about Judge Ergenon. They just got the keys to the entire New York government, if he flipped, which I think he did. So right now, Letitia James is going to come out and give out one of her patented speeches where she's looking all very stoic in the camera. I will not let Donald Trump intimidate me as we try to make sure we uphold the law. You can say whatever you want, girlie. I ain't falling for it. I know while you're saying it, you're leaking into your depends. Because now, here's where the fun part comes. Now, Pam Bondi is driving a wedge into the government of New York. And then there's this thing called discovery. And at that point, you remember, Elon over here has got all the money flow. Oh, this money has flowed into New York City. Kristi Noem said, I clawed back $59 million. They already know at this point. Again, going back to what we've been talking about. And I said it, by the time they announce stuff, it's already too late. She comes out today and says, I'm going to charge Kathy Hochul, the guy who runs the DMV, Letitia James. I don't think she mentioned Alvin Bragg yet. But now that she's mentioned that, they're going to lawyer up and they're going to, basically go into their war room. Except they already got everything. Pam Bondi, in fact, I was going to talk to you guys about a couple tweets. Dogs barking. Let me see if I can pull this up. There was this was filed a little while ago, and I was going to talk about it in this broadcast today, and I didn't know anything about what Pam Bondi was going to do. But this got filed, let's see, at 4 o'clock, 30 minutes before she was due to give her speech. It got delayed because Trump was speaking. Look at this. Just in, and this is earlier, just in, President Trump just seized more than $80 million from New York City's bank account that would have been used to house illegal newcomers. The money came from FEMA. Arrests need to be made. Now, see, when you start putting the breadcrumbs together, things start making sense. I had that ready to show you in the post show here and say, hey, look what's happened in New York. Did not know that this is what Pam Bondi was going to do. Now, put all this together. You don't have to be a brain surgeon. Eric Adams, yeah, he gets his charges dropped. Okay, he could be working with Pam Bondi. And Elon Musk is finding all this money going to New York. Elon Musk tells Kristi Noem $59 million went to this hotel in New York to give to the newcomers. She claws it back. Then at 4:10, Trump says this: we have now seized more than $80 million from New York City's bank account. Not the bank account of the Pakistanis who had the hotel. $80 million just got snatched out of New York City's bank account. New York City's bank account. And then Pam Bondi walks out and says, we're coming after you hard. When you put all that together, you don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be a Svengali. You don't have to have a crystal ball. It's looking like a duck. It's walking like a duck. And it smells like a duck. All that together says, oh, New York, you're effed. Oh, they're coming for you. And they already know. And so there's only so many seats in the lifeboat. And certain people better start talking. And I think Eric Adams took a big lifeboat. Took his brother, his family, certain close people, and said, we're going to get in the first lifeboat. And we're going to give her all the information because, damn, they coming for you. You thought you were coming after Trump? You thought you were going to try and say Mar-a-Lago was worth $18 million? You thought you were going to take away his freedom? Hey, Judge Merchan, you threw 35 fake felonies against him? Now, what you going to do? Now, how you going to make this all work? Oh. It's some evil genius stuff. I love it. I love it when you start putting the breadcrumbs together and seeing for yourself and you think, what in the hell just happened? Yeah, this is better than a soap opera. And when, none of these people want to lay it out and see the sequential nature of this. And then, so now we're going to have to go in and I'm going to have to download and find the actual, whatever it was, lawsuit, indictment, charge. Now you start seeing them put it in there. And if they put it in there, oh boy, it's going to be fun. They need to look into cigarette taxes. Remember she did that, what was it, the driving tax if you drove during a certain surge tax. If you drove during a certain couple of hours of the day, you had to pay $9 or $10 extra. Oh, they're going to look into all that. Eric Adams already squealed. That's why they dropped the charges. Talk to some police people and say, why would they have let Eric Adams off? Why would they just drop his charges? He's tweeting like a bird. Kathy Hochul, the music stopped and you don't got a chair. And Letitia, you need 2 chairs for that big rump. And then there's nobody coming behind you to push the chair in. And so I'm pretty sure there's going to be some more people jumping in these lifeboats. Because a lot of people, especially certain, white-collar crooks, they don't like the idea of going to jail. And now might be the time where, you need to dial the number, 1-800-SAVE-AN-ASS. Yeah, 1-800-SAVE-AN-ASS. Can you put me in touch with Pam Bondi? Call 1-800-SAVE-AN-ASS. I love it. He knew too much. Yeah, they should. Just like with Tulsi Gabbard, just like with RFK, just like with Elon Musk, the Democrats let too many people walk away from their party. You had all these people. You had Elon Musk, RFK, Tulsi Gabbard. You let all these people walk away. Nicole Shanahan. Don't you feel stupid? Don't you feel absolutely moronic that you let these power hitters walk away from your party and are now coming at you? They had no choice but to say, now I gotta come for you. Just like dominoes. Yeah. That's probably the number. I have to put that on a shirt. 1-800-SAVE-AN-ASS. Because somebody's going to be dialing it. These people are going to have to dial it. And that's just the first. It's February 12th. Just imagine if you're, I don't know, Karen Bass, Gavin Newsom, Pritzker, Chris Murphy, the governor of Connecticut. It's coming. There's a tsunami out there, and it's coming. The earthquake happened when Donald Trump got inaugurated, and you know how the water rushes out, and then it comes way in with the tsunami. And right now, there's a lot of people going, oh no. You remember that part in the movie with Morgan Freeman? What was it called? But the people sitting on the beach just watching the big wave come in. There's nothing you can do. You can't run from it. You can't run from that tsunami wave that's coming in off the shore, getting ready to swamp you. Good term, swamp you. This is just getting good. It is the best show ever. And it's so funny, is every single day I sit down, I talk to my wife, I get with Ashley, I go back and forth with SV and say, hey, here's what we're going to do today. We're going to have a show at 1 o'clock and we're going to have a show at 8 o'clock. And then this morning at about 7:30, 8 o'clock, I'm like, I see the schedule. That ain't happening, is it? What's happening now? Well, they're going to have the Tulsi Gabbard hearing because it snowed last night. Okay, so we'll do that. Oh, and then Caroline Leavitt decides, hey, I'm going to hold a press conference at 1 o'clock. And then Pam Bondi goes, I'm going to have one at 4:30. So much for the plans. You got to be fluid. You have to be fluid. You know, it's really interesting because when I look at things, I look at the big guys. And Dan Bongino, 11 o'clock every single day. And Benny, 11 o'clock every single day. And then some of the other ones have, and some of the other ones have defined times. I got to scramble. In order for me to climb that ladder and get up there with the big guys, I got to be nimble. I got to take my big butt and realize and what's the best thing, what are people going to want to hear, because I'm not there yet. I'm not, I don't have millions of followers, and I got to be nimble. And so I really, really, really appreciate you guys for watching and jumping with me when we got to go here and we got to go there, because I need to do that until I have 1 million people watching that I can count on every single day. I got to be nimble. I got to work at it. I got to make sure I'm doing everything I possibly can to be as good as I want to be. That's, to me, the one thing I'm looking at when I see Donald Trump. He has no schedule. He does what he wants, when he wants, according to his objective. And if you don't follow him, if you don't see what's going on, thank God Ashley has hooked up with Monica in the White House. And we're seeing different things and say, hey, listen, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And then even, you want to see something funny? Here's someone who's actually in the White House to show you how chaotic this stuff goes. When you're seeing people in the actual White House do this is when you know that it's really hard to keep up. So Monica gets up this morning. She thinks she's planning her day. So she's planning her day, and this is what she put out early this morning. Oh, Trump schedule, today's schedule, 1 p.m. briefing, 2:30 executive orders. But then that doesn't work. And then she had to update it, and she put this one out. And this one's like, wait a minute, we got to change things. President Trump participates in a swearing-in ceremony for national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and then 4 o'clock, President Trump signs executive orders. Except it is now 5:50, and we haven't seen the executive orders yet. So just by looking at that schedule, you're like, wait a second, wait, he's not done? He's not done. Things get pushed back, things get bumped. Pam Bondi, he didn't obviously want to usurp her. He didn't want to say, Pam's going to be talking, let me go ahead and do these executive orders so nobody will watch her. Nope, he's like, let me wait. So what's going to happen is he's probably going to be signing these executive orders anytime soon, and then people will see that later on. So that would, looks like it's 3 shows today. Because I don't know if he's going to do those executive orders. Man, it's absolutely crazy. Barry be nimble, Barry be quick. Oh, damn, these Democrats make me sick. And meanwhile, they're all screaming. And there's stuff I wasn't able to cover today that I want to bring to you in case you haven't seen. Let me know in the comments if you guys have seen the Doge hearing that, there's two big things. The Doge hearing that Marjorie Taylor Greene and her committee put together today, which was fireworks. And then yesterday, if you saw the press conference with Anna Paulina Luna, which was fire. And it's like you have to go to the buffet, but there's so much to eat, and you like this one better, but you wish you could eat this, but you're already full, so you can only eat this. You can only have the General Tso because you can't have this because you had sushi and General Tso, but now I want some of the shrimp. There's so much in this Trump administration. It's amazing. Thank you guys for watching. It's absolutely crazy. So let me go with a couple news stories that did come out that I do want to cover for you. This one is going to make you really, really mad. Big scandal unfolding in Penfield Central School District in New York. New York again, you say? Yes, New York is what I said here. A kindergartner, how old are you in kindergarten? 5? A kindergarten came home with a book about attending an alternative lifestyle parade, which included pictures of grown-ass men in different kind of gear, which you can see. Parents showed up to demand an explanation, and the board walked out. Why is the board ignoring parents' concern over their children having to see this? A 5-year-old. And then the board decides they're walking away. When you see stuff like this, if you're not engaged all the way down to your school board, if you're not making sure these people are doing the right things by your kids, you're messing up. You really need to watch everything, to ask your kids to do whatever it is. It's absolutely crazy. And I hope this all comes to a head real quickly. I don't know what's going on with Zach Apotheker, the border agent who spoke out, but it doesn't look good. It says, I put my integrity before my paycheck, spoke out about trafficking occurring at the border and violent criminals crossing into the country. My punishment has been being investigated nonstop and sitting in a room for months on end. I don't know how much longer I or anyone in their right mind would continue to show up to work. At this point, with what Zach is going through, maybe just hit him up with a message. Just hit him up with a reply and say, Zach, we're praying for you. Because he's obviously going through something right now. I knew when we talked to him, we all thought that once Tom Homan got into office, things would be better. But it doesn't sound like at this point things have gotten better. And so, say a prayer for him. And let him know you're thinking about him. I mean, that's the least we can do. Let me see what else I need to cover here. This popped up from Eric Doherty. The odds are soaring that Trump declassifies the list within his first 100 days. Polymarket has a strong track record, which is going to be insanity if and when it happens. 100 days ends April 29th. You can see how the odds have skyrocketed. It's not going to be President Trump. It's not going to take 100 days. Once Kash Patel is in, it's on. It is on once Kash Patel gets in. And yes, then the insanity will up to 11. It'll go crazy. I also thought this was interesting. El Salvador President Nayib Bukele reacts to activist judges overstepping their authority to hamstring Trump and Doge. That's exactly what judges were doing in El Salvador in 2021. How'd he fix it? Oh, we impeached them all and then proceeded to fix the country. Got to get rid of them. Got to get rid of them. Republicans have got to grow a set and go after these guys. That's the only thing they can do. I'm going to, this video here that SV sent me, I'll let you read the text, but I'll have the video tonight. The video tonight so you can actually hear what this guy said. This is when you know desperation is setting in. Democrat Representative Robert Garcia just called for actual weapons to be used against Elon Musk in this fight for democracy. This comes after an ad popped up in D.C. today, clearly calling for the unaliving of Musk. Democrats are violent. The events of this week have made that clearer than ever. They must be charged. They're desperate. And just like when you put any animal and you corner them, they are going to lash out. So what these people are doing, and don't doubt it at all. Don't doubt it. What they are trying everything to cause an uproar. They want something to happen in the streets. They want riots. But see, if some of the lower level people who don't know any better think that this George Floyd stuff and everything else was spontaneous, and they weren't in the know. And they're wondering, why aren't people going crazy? Well, two things. One, people realize they've been lied to. There's no doubt. In fact, there's probably a lot of people in George Floyd's family are like, hey man, they took my money. Money. See, this is one thing the Democrats don't understand. You can say all the racist stuff, and you can say the police brutality, and they can decide that they're going to riot or do this or do that. But the one thing that is politically agnostic, nobody cares what the other person looks like if you're stealing their money. If you're stealing their money, you are on the wrong side. And now people are seeing, and people are talking, people like you are talking about it. You're stealing my money. And making it worse, giving it to people in other countries to do God knows what. You crossed the Rubicon. This is no longer a white-black issue. This is no longer an issue that you can rile people up with. And in fact, you can't even rile up your own people. I've showed you enough of these videos at this point where they can go on stage at CNN or some studio or some rally and say all the pablum that they want to. Unfortunately, you catch them outside of that realm and they run like chickens. They got nothing to say. Don't put a microphone or a camera in my face. Oh no, I'm melting. There's nothing there. And in fact, at this point, now we know you can't fight. Now you keep saying I'm going to fight. Now we know you can't fight. You run. You hide. You don't even mean the words that come out your mouth. You're hoping you can get some orcs to do it for you. I ain't even seen that. Because the checks stopped flowing. See, if you don't have the little Antifa guys running around with clubs and everything else and need buses to get transported to someplace and you can't pay for it, they're not coming. So now they're getting desperate. Just do this. Do anything. Nope. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. It reminds me, you guys know I use movie analogies. It's a movie with Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. And it's called Training Day. And at the end, they figure out that Denzel Washington, who is, basically commanding them to do different things, they find out he's a dirty cop and doesn't have their back. And he's in the hood. And he's getting his butt beat and everything. And the boys that used to protect him are just walking away. Hey, this is what's happened to the Democrat Party. The orcs, the gangs that they thought they controlled, got nothing for you. You stole my money. You stole money from the American people. And at this point, again, green is more important than black and white to many people. You heard Trump say this. He said he wants to close the Department of Education right away. They're going to lose it. Well, we have to find another word, at least I do, about losing it, because they've been losing it. There's nothing left for them. It's all futile. Again, no one can stop what is coming. I'm going to show you some things tonight, so I guess I am doing the 8 o'clock, about these judges. It's crazy. Bahizi says, prepare for Democrats nationwide to pretend like this is an act of political retaliation against Letitia James for all the witch hunts she brought against Trump. In reality, it's solely about her violating federal law by protecting newcomers from deportation. George is wrong about one thing. Nobody cares. CNN, nobody's watching. MSNBC's, nobody's watching. You can cry, you can complain, you can whine. If nobody's listening to the senators, they're definitely not listening to you on CNN. It's like this. We just, yeah, go ahead. Just, yeah, vote it in. Oh, Tulsi's a Putin puppet. Yeah, she's confirmed. Tick-tock. It's happening. There's not much you people can do at this point. It's happening. and it seems like, as I'm looking at certain things here, it seems like the more they try to piss off Elon Musk, the stronger he's getting. He puts out polls like this. I have not even voted yet. Let me go ahead and refresh this so we can see how many people have indeed voted. And as of right now, 462,000 people have voted. Let's see. Federal judges who repeatedly abuse their authority to obstruct the will of the people via their elected representatives should be impeached. Yes, I agree with that. Bam. Ooh, that doesn't bode well for the Democrats. That doesn't bode well. 88% tells you it's a crossover. A crossover of ages, a crossover of demographics, and a crossover of political alliance. 88% of people, 8 out of 10, almost 9 out of 10, believe that judges should be impeached. These judges are in bat poop trouble. There's no telling how they're going to get out of this. I'm here for it. I am here for it. That's all I'm going to have until tonight. There's some other things, but we can talk about that later. Let me go ahead and wrap this up, and then we can talk. I think he's going to be doing. Let me see if there's any watch happening about executive orders. Let me just check this. No, I can't see it. All right. So, that being said, man, what a busy day. And I'm going to get out of here so hopefully I can do a night show tonight. If you'd like to join us over at X, pretty soon I'll have to change the banner again, and it will say 15,000. 15,000. We're almost there, and thank you guys all for joining. And I guess I'm going to have to go live tonight to give away. Oh, the hoodie thing is I got to fix that. But you can go to fanfareshop.org to register to win a hoodie. Maybe because it's already 6:04. Might have to go a little bit late tonight if I do it. I'll post if we go live. Somebody said the survey was at 91% when they took it. Yep. Yeah, so watching Barry is a full-time job. That's the other thing. I just don't know how much you can handle. You know what I mean? We've been together today for almost 5 hours. Some of us who watch both shows, and I haven't seen my wife all day. And so let's just call this show and it for today, and then we'll hit it back tomorrow. I got to see my wife. I mean, it's been a long day, 2 shows. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Let's see. And then we got to do it all over again tomorrow. All right, so Super Chats. Tommy Ratcliffe. The Rubicon symbolizes a point of no return or decisive moment that leads to irrevocable consequences when Caesar crossed the Rubicon. Yes. That's exactly what it means. Kim Hansen, going to watch Sling Blade. Oh, yeah. No Gators. That's a good movie. Barry, can you renew media to a MSN blackout 2 weeks? They should. Keith B., according to an attorney, judges can be removed for bad behavior. All you need is 51 Senate votes and not 2/3 for impeachment. It has never been done before. I'd love to see that happen. That may be the next step. Mike McCarthy, Barry, we're not worthy. We value your excellence. Oh, you're making me blush. Kim Hansen, have we learned nothing from Les Nessman? If you guys don't know who Les Nessman is, Google that on YouTube with the movie Traffic Thunder, and at the end, it's Tom Cruise in a fat suit, and he's just too... I will F you up. I will go scorched earth. D-Lad, Letitia, Big Rump James. Oh, have you seen the other video about Trump? I can't play that one because of copyright. The Trumpty Trump, Trumpty Hump. It uses the song Humpty Hump. I don't know if you remember. It was a rap song, but it's called the Trumpty Hump, I think it's called. It's really funny. Ernest, the Democrats have version in the squad, and we've got the boss's babes mess with Ethan and find their claws. Kim Hansen again. Never. News is when news happens, you big butt. Mr. E409. Rasmussen reports looked at Google searches for criminal defense attorneys in Washington, and since January, the searches have soared 5x. I'm telling you. Greg Brown, you are absolutely right. That's going to be trending. There are people right now, $1, 1-800-SAVE-IT-ASS. Oh, I'd be terrified. I would be absolutely terrified if I was some of these people. There is no way they're getting out from underneath this. Danny Barrow says they could need more lifeboats. Man. And you know, she looked pissed, like personally pissed. Harry Schrader, I will donate 50 cents to Eric Adams' commissary along with LeBron James. There they called 1-800-SAVE-IT-ASS and got put on hold. Oh boy, you guys are funny. They thought they were untouchable. Yeah. You know what's weird about this? That Biden put all these people, sold them out. He gave like 6 people pardons. Yeah, rest of you, good luck. Oh gosh. Peter Ortiz, just say, I can't say it. They get mad upstairs if you say that. And I hate doing a 2+ hour show and then lose it because, you know, they didn't like what you said. Now Donald Trump has control of the intelligence communities. He sure does. Tommy Radcliffe, this is spectacular. Good men and women represent. In regards to that video, I will be posting it probably right after I have dinner, and you guys can go ahead and download it. Charlene says, thank you, Barry. We are the media. Fume drummer. When Governor Hochul was Erie County clerk, she would not give driver's license to the newcomer. She became governor and lost her friggin' mind, or she was paid to lose her friggin' mind. Gotta wonder. Dolphin Intel, thank you, Barry, for your show. It takes a lot of time to do what you're doing for the people. Thank you for recognizing that. Thank you very, very much. Fume drummer, is there a way to share a video from X into Facebook? I don't know. Facebook kicked me off a long time ago, and I never went back and refused to go back. You probably have to download it and then re-upload it. Captain Danny, almost 16,000 fans are watching earlier. Love it. Thank you very much. Roberto Esteban Marino, I'm an instructor from Hammond, Indiana. Can I please get paid a fair wage? Really. Penny Quarter, I always get informed and caught up on fanfare. Thank you for all you do and keep us updated. Thank you for watching. I definitely appreciate it. Celeste Torres, love the heavy metal song and video. I was hoping that not too many people would get, I know some people would get offended, but I'm like, man, that's just, love it. From K and Knife, I'm not super hard rock fan, but I really enjoyed the new video you just debuted, Rock On. Yeah, I loved it. Marie Havzita, Barry, thank you for all you're doing for us and the USA. Thank you. I really enjoy what I do, and you guys make it fun. Fume drummer, 15,000 viewers. We would be watching ourselves, which I thank you, if I were here for the commentary. Thank you very much. Biddle Bean, I'm sure you guys are with me. I'd love to see Barry in the White House press room. The more we show our love, the better. Keep smashing the... Man, I'm telling you, even Caroline Levitt might escort me out because I might have like 5 questions. Excuse me, can I have a follow-up, please? Yeah. I'd like to talk to you about that. I would tell her, let me have like the 4th question. I don't want to go first. Why, are you nervous? No. Because I want you to ask one of these people something, and I want to ask you about them. Oh, so like what would you do? Like, call on Caitlin Collins. All right, Miss Levitt. You heard the idiotic question from her. And I would lead into it like that. Oh, God. It just oh, Jane, you ignorant slut. Waylon Jennings, I guarantee that Americans have had not trillions, but quadrillions stolen us over. Can't even imagine if you go back decades. Belinda, I share all your videos privately and on Facebook. I copy and paste from X to Facebook. I've been posting everything Doge been finding. Any place I go and talk, and do that. Get the word out. Keep fighting. Vincent Lemoine. Dang it, Barry. Now I got to go listen to some Jackal. Yeah, I love that song back. I'm a lumberjack now, baby. Hey, fellow patriots, there are 13,000. That was earlier. Let's show Barry some love. Yeah, you know what? No, I'm not going to play it. Mark Hunt. We still need to get the secretaries of Agriculture, Commerce. Wait a minute. He's like, quick check message. I will. Okay. So I guess something else just happened. See how this happens? Breaking news. So hold on before we get there. Stephen Anderson, Buckethead Soothsayer is awesome. Oh, did you look it up after I mentioned that last night? I told you, you try me on some music, it ain't going to be a whole lot you're going to be able to stump me on. And somebody brought up Buckethead, and they're like, you like Buckethead? I'm like, yeah, I like Buckethead, and I like Soothsayer even better. And it probably went, oh, what did you just say, Barry? You know Soothsayer? Yeah, I'm there. Yeah. I'm sure it shocked a few people. How in the hell does he know Soothsayer? Number 1, how does he know Buckethead? Number 2, how does he know the song Soothsayer? Yeah, love it. Thomas Wilson, I'm a long-haul truck driver from Mount Airy, North Carolina, and as an Army vet, I think you're a great patriot doing a fantastic job. Thank you. I salute you. Thank you for watching. Tim Freestone, Barry, where can we find this video? I'm going to post it. I guess you guys like that one. We'll post it. Barb Johnson, Barry, I'm an older gal and never a rocker, but that opening was banging. Oh, great. Glad you liked it. Jeff26, I thought the video was awesome. Kind of showed me lighten it up all, but also keep it intact at the same time. And knowing that that's all AI. Scary, isn't it? Like, they made all that? I mean, yep, AI. I'm in my 60s and rocked with the music, danced the floor while watching it. Oh, that's funny. Andrew Dopazzo, you got to post that metal video. The animations were bad. Badass. Need people to see this. Yes, I will post it. Viking King. Kiss. If it's too loud, you're too old. Yep, that's where I got it from. You want the best, you got the best. Man, I'm giving myself away. FAFO, Video Kick Arse, love your metal drummer, mailman, Viking King. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Oh, man. I love music. I've always loved music. You're doing a great job for a senior. I'm not a senior citizen. I'm not there yet. Okay. But once I do, I will wear it proudly. Useless idiot, when was the last time a president addressed Congress directly in the first 100 days? I don't know, but I believe his address is what, March 4th, March 5th, something like that? It's going to be crazy. How about Tesla, Modern Day Cowboy? Great song. I like Love Song better, but that's a good song as well. Do you think that it's over? I'm getting there. Dila Pina, thank you very much. Tommy Radcliffe, the Rubik. Okay, that was where we started. All right, so Tommy says there's some. I'm not Tommy. SV says there's something else I gotta check. Let's see. What did he send me so I can show you guys? Oh, boom! Oh my God! OMG! OM Big G! Bam! Trump and Elon win in court. Federal worker buyout allowed to proceed. A judge had previously blocked the plan, allowing federal workers to resign. Over 70,000 employees have already agreed to the deal. They can't stop the winning. Oh, excuse me.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
You know, look, this is just too much. They're going to find they're going to lose over and over and over. And the Democrats, all they got left is to be violent. Man, oh man, oh man. This is just way too much. Way too much. I'm refreshing to see if anyone's talking about it. Crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I'm trying to find out. I'm going to be looking to see the whole thing with Pam Bondi. She said, quote, and I'm looking at the quote, we filed charges. And I'm not sure if it is criminal. That's going to be very interesting. Very interesting. Just now, President Trump commends Elon, announces a news conference set for tomorrow. I'm going to read you. Oh, my goodness. Tomorrow's going to be lit. Yeah, I'm going to have to hold off on 8 o'clock because I think I might be live like all day tomorrow. President Trump commends Elon, announces a news conference set for tomorrow. Will he read a list of names of recipients of waste, fraud, and abuse? I'm going to read to you some of the names that hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars have been given to. I'll say it in front of our Attorney General. There's no chance that there's not kickbacks or something going on when you give millions and millions of dollars to somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars. I went through a list of 200 expenditures that were made, and I found 3 that looked like they were reasonable, meaning there's 197, and he's going to blow it out tomorrow. I hope there's somebody over, I don't know, in the Department of Justice who's got someone over at the airports watching the Lear jets, because damn, things are about to happen. They're about to happen. It looks like somebody found it already and posted the video in the group. So it's already been posted in our group. Just want you to know. Probably one of you guys watching right there. There it is. Amazing. FAFO member in the group. And there's the video right there. I just loved the animation. Everything they did there is just crazy. Now understand, somebody posted this, and it may be, let me get off of it. It may be the raw version, because I blocked out the F of the FAFO, the first F. And this might be the full version where it's not blocked out. So be careful what you listen to. And I blocked it out so people wouldn't get mad. So, you know, there would be no swearing in it. But that looks like the original version that I'm looking at. And in the original version, it straight up says F around and find out. And there's nothing there's nothing holding it back. So, in any event, that's everything. I've done the super chats. Asked you guys to go ahead and join the group. And you know, one last thing before I turn off, and I'll do the extended after party chat today because I may not go live later. But I want you to see something. This really made me feel good. and it says, "My friend Barry has inspired all of us to get the word out about what's coming about Doge. So here's my first reel. This is from How Granny Sees It." And this woman, she did her first video and posted it. She picked up her phone and recorded a video, or put it on a tripod, it looks like. And looks like she's got light because I can see it in her off of her glasses. But she made her first video, and it's 2 minutes long. Who is it? It's How Granny Sees It. And she's got some engagement. She had almost 2,300 impressions, and 106 people liked it. 44 people retweeted it, reposted it, and she's had 24 comments. Come on, people. How Granny Sees It can do it. You can do it. Anybody can do it. You just got to do it. You just got to do it. That's all there is. All right, so I'll see you. You might have to watch the notifications. Not really sure. Got to go check in with the wife. You know, I have to check in with the wife. But in any event, thank you guys for tuning in this afternoon. Great day. Great day. Oops. Wrong button.
you.